Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. In Sri Lanka, campaigning for the general elections ended Monday midnight as the island nation moved into a silent period. Polling for the general election will be held on Thursday between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. at over 13,400 polling stations, where 17 million electorate will exercise their right to vote. Over 8,800 candidates are in the fray to be elected through 196 seats from 22 electoral districts and 29 national list seats. The Election Commission has said that over 75,000 police personnel have been deployed for the election process across the island. The elections are expected to set the tone for the country's political future under the leadership of President Dissanayake. Sri Lanka had elected NPP candidate Anura Kumara Dissanayake as the president in September this year, who days after assuming office dissolved the parliament, making way for snap elections. All right, we'll go across to Colombo. DD India's Dr. Ahmed Faruqi is joining us live from there. Dr. Faruqi, campaigning has ended and silent period has commenced. Tell us how many candidates are there in the fray and who holds the upper hand, prominent candidates.
Abhishek, you see, days after presidential elections were completed, President Anura Kumara Dissanayake had dissolved the parliament, making way for the elections that we are going to see on Thursday. There are more than 8,800 candidates in the fray, which includes the electoral district seats as well as the national seats, in which there will be some, politicians, some members of the parliament who will be nominated by each of the parties on the basis of the proportionate representation and the percentage of the seats they would have gained in the entire country. Frankly speaking, if you ask me, there are a few names which are significant in the political landscape of Sri Lanka right now who are in the fray, including Sri Lanka's Prime Minister, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, the previous leader of opposition, as well as one of the candidates in the presidential election, Sajith Premadasa of SJB. In fact, also we have a few other prominent names who have been there in the government, in the previous governments, as well as in past as well. However, some new names are going to be seen because NPP, that is the National People's Power, which is currently ruling, that will have a considerable say in what will come out in these elections. In fact, NPP has been, it has taken a step further towards an inclusive kind of democracy by nominating one of the members of the persons from disability community as well. So there has been considerable interest with regard to how the presidential elections had been, and now going into the parliamentary elections, the interest exists, but not to the same level that we had seen at the time of presidential elections.
Right. Dr. Faruqi, also, and you think the upcoming election is significant as it could shape the political landscape of the country following an unprecedented economic crisis back in 2022?
You're absolutely right, Abhishek. You see, the economic crisis of 2022, the peak of it, which we had seen in 2022, it is still ongoing as of now. There are difficulties which are being faced by Sri Lankan people. If you look at common essentials, they are not at the same level that had been there before 2022. Partly because the import bills had risen, the rupee had devalued considerably, making way towards a galloping kind of an inflation hitting up to 70%. Now, the new government faces considerable challenge with regard to, recovery of the economy as well as taking forward the IMF deal. The new government, which was elected in September, will have to take several steps towards alleviating the discomfort and the difficulties which the common man had faced. Now, this is where the new parliament will play a key role, because executive presidency is something which has been in Sri Lanka since 1978, and the president is all powerful. But the president also required some amount of support from the parliament, especially whenever it has to, approve certain bills and even for the budget as well. So a lot of importance will be there with regard to gaining a majority in these elections. The total house strength being 225, majority mark in this case will be 113. Experts have been saying that National People's Power has sufficient numbers and sufficient strength to muster the majority mark. There are also people who are saying that they might even go beyond the majority mark, but there are also another set of people who are saying that they will face considerable challenge in various places like the northern part of the island as well as the upcountry areas where they do not have that much ground support. So it needs to be seen how the electorate will, give a decisive mandate or not to the NPP or to the opposition parties as well. Abhishek.
Right, happening after 4 years, elections will be held on November 14. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs, Dr. Farooq.